All right, so at each table, you're going to get a basket. It has um, onion, it has the razor blade, it has some tweezers, it has prepared slides. So the prepared slides are human blood and a paramecium. Okay, so we learned yesterday about what makes something alive. That you need to have the requirements that allow something to be considered alive. So we're going to look at a few different things, and we're going to see how big they are, and we're also going to try to determine whether they were alive at the time the slide was made. Okay. So remember that you can't have anything that's thick on the slide. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see anything. It'll block the light from going through it. So I want every person to make one slide, at least one of the slides that you have to prepare so everybody gets proficient at that. Okay, so you already did the cheek cells, so I don't have to explain how to use the cotton swab to put the buccal cells or cheek cells onto the microscope slip. And you already stained them on Monday. Okay, everybody remembers that. But I do have to show you how to do the celery and the onion. So here's the celery. Um, I cut it up just so it can fit into the little containers. Now, if I go and I take my razor and I try to cut a piece, and what you see is it kind of looks like you can see through it. But then when I try to, I would add some water. If I add some water to it and I put the cover slip down, look what happens. Do you see how it's crooked? You won't be able to focus on that. If anyone has had the experience when they were doing the calibration of having the calibration slide upside down, you will never be able to get that into focus. You won't be able to get this into focus because it's so fat. Okay. So the easiest thing to do, I think, with the celery is to take the outside and just pull a piece of that off. And then you can take your razor and cut a small piece. Right. So now you see you have a smaller piece. It's still a little fat, but in this case, you can smush it. Very technical term. If you see how that air bubble formed, that's an indication that it's a little too fat. And you can see it's no longer raised. But don't forget to take off the extra water. Okay, and when you're focusing this on the microscope, right, because you smushed it, you want to go to the edges. Because if you try to go to the middle, it's going to be too many cells wide, so it'll be blurry. So if you go to the edge, you don't have other cells on top of it and below it. All right, so that's the celery. The onion is really, really easy. That's why they usually do this in middle school. Bless you. You just take a piece of onion, bless you, and you bend it backwards against the way it wants to go. I don't know if you can see that thin layer right there. It's perfect for making a slide. So remember, with the onion skin. I'm just trying to show you. See how thin it is? So with the onion skin, you're gonna stain that. You guys already know how to stain. You put a drop on one side. Make sure you rinse all the stain from the rest of the slide. All right, and then for bamboo, remember how to hold the razor blade. That folded part is where you hold your finger. And for the bamboo, I just put like sprigs on there. You can just scrape it and get some dust. So do you see that those little flecks? That's all you need. Right. If you try to actually make a slide, it'll be way too fat. It'll be too thick because I didn't moisten these. You can also, if you are really adept at the motorcycle, oh my God, the microscope, you can try scraping some of the leaf off. Or even making a very small piece. See, that's too fat though, right? And no light's going to be able to pass through it. Do you see the one on the razor blade? Okay. And then your sponge, it's a natural sponge. It looks like this. I put little pieces in the container. You're going to take the forceps. I put a bunch of different forceps. So there's some needle nose forceps. There's these. There's a bunch of different types. You don't want to be able to see this. So you're going to take a few hairs off that and put it on the slide. I suggest using the probe to get it off. And then you just put a drop of water and put the cover slip on. The water keeps it from blowing away. Like literally, if you move, the sponge goes flying and you won't see anything anymore. Okay. All right. So now you have those cells that you're going to make and the ones that are prepared. Hold on, just